Hey guys, I really had fun with my last video, so I've decided to make another one like it, even though no one asked for it, just like with the upcoming relaunch of Cena Grace's Iceman. But anyway, today I'm going to be reviewing the Free Comic Book Day 2018 issue of The Amazing Spider-Man by Nick Spencer and Ryan Otley. And I know that it's 2 months late, but I just wanted an excuse to make a video about Spider-Man, and I also said in my last video that I was going to be talking about the upcoming relaunch of The Amazing Spider-Man, and the first issue for that isn't out yet, but I think I should be moving on to the actual comic that I'm reviewing today now. So okay, the first thing that I want to talk about in regards to this issue is the amazing cover for this. We have Spider-Man in the foreground, web swinging in a really cool pose with the villains of the issue, Rhino, Boomerang and the new Electro in the background along with the Kingpin. I'm a really big fan of Ryan Otley from his work on Invincible with Robert Kirkman, and the only complaint I ever had with that was that the covers weren't very good while I was reading it, but Ryan Otley has proven, at least in my opinion, that he can do a good cover with this issue. The issue opens with the obligatory recap of Spidey's origin, but uses that to transition to Spidey narrating what being a superhero lets him have a good view of New York City, before going to the next panel where he narrates that he could never afford it in his civilian identity as Peter Parker, while looking outside of a window and asking if he's really looking at dumpsters while looking at a potential new apartment. This shows that Nick Spencer knows how to pace out a page as he manages to recap Spider-Man's origin and establish that Peter Parker doesn't have much money and is currently apartment hunting. So it's disappointing when immediately after that, Spencer fails to inject humour into the book with two cringe-worthy panels of the estate agent, or whatever they called it in the US, trying to make the view of the dumpster sound luxurious. We are also introduced to Randy Robertson, who is an obscure Spider-Man supporting character that I don't really know much about beyond that he's the son of Robbie Robertson, Peter Parker's boss of the Daily Bugle. Spencer also has Peter mention in the narration caption that Randy is supposedly one of his best friends, despite Randy not having even appeared since 2010 to my knowledge. The pair then leave the apartment that they were looking at, and Peter then mentions that he thinks that rent would be cheap in New York due to the amount of supervillains and invasions that occur. Randy mentions that people just take advantage of it by opening up new businesses. This is good world building in my opinion, as I have often questioned why people would continue to live in New York despite the large amounts of events like the Symbiote Pride Parade that occur quite frequently. On the next page, the villains of the issue are revealed, and Peter says that he needs to get photos of them for the Daily Bugle, and Randy then points out Peter works for a science section now. This tells any readers that haven't read recent issues of the main Amazing Spider-Man series that Peter no longer works as a photographer, and is now working at the science section in a way that doesn't feel like forced exposition. Peter then jumps into Battle of Spidey, and Nick Spencer manages to do some good jokes that complement Otley's artwork in the scene. After that, there's another good example of pacing when Rhino goes to attack Spider-Man by charging at him, but ends up getting his head lodged into the car, and Spidey manages to trick him into charging at Boomerang. This entire fight scene is a great example of how vibrant and energetic Ryan Otley's art is, and I hope that he manages to attain this quality of work when his run on the main Amazing Spider-Man series begins. Electro then short-circuits the big wheel's wheel, which causes him to lose control and almost crash into a restaurant. And after Spider-Man manages to avert that catastrophe, the villains are incapacitated by an explosion before they are able to continue their assault on Spider-Man, with an unseen character off-panel commending Spider-Man for his valour. On the next page, the unseen character is revealed to be Kingpin, who had briefly been the mayor before this was released, and through a continuity burst of new readers that are curious, as a caption that tells the reader this takes place before the issue of Daredevil where he's impeached. The Kingpin then does a cheesy but well-written villain speech about the villains having to pay a price for their actions, with that price being the villain's score. Kingpin opens Boomerang's man bag, which emanates a mysterious light, which is probably setting up a future plot point for Spencer and Otley's run. Boomerang then escapes using a boomerang-shaped jetpack, but Spider-Man just goes away and doesn't try to stop him, which I feel is out of character. But this is just a short story, and Spencer needs to get to the end, so that screw-up is forgivable given the circumstances. On the next page, Randy's managed to find him and Peter an apartment that they're going to sublet to a tenant who's revealed to be Fred Myers, the secret identity of Boomerang. I think that this is a really good twist, as it allows there to be loads of possible plot points for the main Amazing Spider-Man book when Ryan Otley and Nick Spencer begin on that. Despite the fact that this issue is free, the quality of the story is worth a full-priced issue, despite some hiccups of writing. I have faith in Expense as I enjoyed his run on Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which also featured Boomerang as a main character. And Why Not Lee's art is spectacular as always, so I feel that this issue is a solid 7 out of 10. I'd also like to apologise for not doing any streams of Life is Strange yet this week, because I'll be doing one later in the week, so be sure to turn on your notifications for that. And I'm also going to be on holiday in Poland next week, so I probably won't be able to upload anything then, but I'll be working on a really special video for August while I'm in Poland. Remember that if you liked this video, like, comment, and subscribe.